Ven, te financiamos, con lo vas a encontrar. Expertos en finanzas te vienen a ayudar. Legal, inmobiliario y también empresarial. Conéctate a un webinar, te vamos a inspirar. Escríbete ya, ven a descubrir el mundo financiero que te hará sonreír. Con Te Financiamos, vamos a aprender. Con expertos a tu lado, nada vas a perder. Si en Te Financiamos, ¿cómo lo vas a encontrar? Inscríbete ahora, ven y vamos a triunfar.
Sorry, I don't hear you, sorry.
Okej. Dzień dobry. Ponownie. Dzień dobry. Witamy wszystkich serdecznie. Good morning, buenos dias. This webinar we are going to organize to make in English because we have our investor from Poland, from our country, so it's easier if someone wants to make at the final or during some question. I invite you to make it by chat. So today we have a pleasure to be with Iván Picó Madrigal.
Yes.
That is, hello, Iván. Iván Picó is a distinguished lawyer with over 70 years of experience in corporate and real estate law. Iván, before joining, now is working with Martínez-Echevarría, lawyer firm. But before, he worked in renowned international and national law firms. So Iván has advised on numerous real estate transactions, including direct asset, share deals. He has always actively participated in structuring real estate investment funds, advised complex investment projects like RIOs, NLPs, peer-to-rent, seller leaseback, things like that. And additional transaction expertise, Iván has experience in real estate development too, assisting major developers from land acquisition, from construction, for coordination with various construction agents. His role also in some Sochimi sector, like vice secretary of the council for a company like Millennium, Elix, Government Property. So we can speak more about Iván. So it's a really pleasure to have you here, because we would like, Iván, speak with you about problems at the time of investment in Spain.
Okay, so, great.
Tell us.
Thank you very much for such a good presentation. I'm not so good, as you say, but well, many hours of work in the last few years, definitely.
Oh, it's about you. So you know, if there are some things that I need to introduce, you tell me.
No.
Sure.
No? Thank you very much, Sylvia. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Happy to stay here with you.
Iván, tell us, what's the primary legal requirements for foreign investor here in Spain?
Well, first, let me clarify one thing, that in Spain we have no limitation. So, I mean, in terms that anyone coming from any part of the world are entitled to acquire a property in Spain. Okay, because I know that in some countries there are some kind of limitations, and I know that in Mexico, for example, you are not entitled to acquire properties in the shore, but no limitation in Spain. Okay, there are only a few limitations. They're from the UN regulation and in connection with the restriction with Russia, Syria, and Iran. But apart of that, no restriction to become a an owner of a real estate property here in Spain. So what do we need first? The first step that we need a foreign identification number. I mean, this is a requirement. The foreign identification number that we call here NIE, is the Spanish acronyms of Número de Identificación de Extranjeros, is required by the Spanish authorities to carry out real estate transactions. Okay, so any time you need to carry out, need to perform some steps before the Spanish authorities, or you have to carry out some actions with tax impact, you are required to have a foreign identification number, and it takes several weeks to obtain it. Okay, so you have to be aware of that in order to not delay the transaction process. Okay, so it's important to bear that in mind. The second is not a requirement, but very, very, very advisable, but at the end, make the things easier, is obtaining a Spanish bank account. You are not required to do that. It's important to say that for U.S. citizen, and to the extent that your country is member of the European payment of system, you are not obliged to do this. But at the end, sellers and the systems oblige you to have a Spanish bank account, okay? Because at the end you have to pay some condominium expenses, some taxes, and all the things becomes easier if you have a Spanish bank account. And this is the requirement. I mean, as I told you, that there is no specific requirement. You only have to be your legal age. You have to comply also with a very restrictive law about anti-money laundering. So this is sometimes a point. You have to disclose. You have to make a full disclosure of your wealth, of your patrimony, and the source of funds that you will use to pay the property. This is essential. And this is the only requirements. I mean, we have the law.
For example, in this case, it's difficult to obtain it because I let's speak about the account, because in account I'm expert, so I can help every investor to open his own account in Spain. There's no problem for us, but we are doing it usually. But for example, for obtaining the foreign identification number, it is difficult. Is sometimes they can be refused to obtain it, or what is, for example, what are the steps and how long it can take for foreigners, for example. Tell me about it a little. From which country is more difficult than from others? So
yeah, but it's a good question. We have two ways to obtaining the NIE. One way is in the Spanish.
Iván, something. Oh, we lost Iván. One moment. Let's see.
Now.
Okay, now.
Okay. With the connection.
Direct,
Yeah, I will start again. We have two ways for obtaining the NIE. One way is in the Spanish consulates. So you can go to the Spanish consulates in your country and request for a NIE. You will need a reason, okay? And because you have to provide some evidence that you really need the NIE. Okay, this is not provided to everyone who asks it. You need a specific reason. The other way is to obtain it here in the police offices in Spain. Okay. What would you will be required for, as I told you, in both cases, in consulates and police offices here in Spain, you will have to prove the reason why you need a NIE. For example, if you want to buy a house, you probably will be required with the offer. For example, it's not only that you say, "Oh, I'm interested to buy." No, you will need to provide some evidence. And if you are a member, you will also need copy of your passport. Okay, so if you are a EU member, you will need copy only of the first page of your passport, of where your personal details appear. If you are not from a U.S. member citizen, if you are not a U.S. citizen, you will be required to have a copy of the full pages of the passport. Okay, so, and after that, you have to ask for an appointment and provide those things. As the reason why you proof of evidence that why you need an NIE, and the second, the copy of the passport, and that's it. The process is simple, but it takes 1, 2, or even 3 weeks, depending on the city where you are. For example, here in Madrid, we usually take 2 weeks in obtaining the NIE. In other cities, maybe get longer. I have no experience, or I have no clue about the term in the.
I lost Iván, but we are going to wait. Let's see.
Okay, now.
Now connecting again. Okay.
Yeah, some problems, and in consulate it usually takes 2 or 3 weeks too. Okay, the point is to get appointment.
Can you do it before? For example, imagine I'm just looking for some property in Spain, and I'm just thinking to buy it. But before coming, can I do it through lawyer as you ask for NI before I come, or I need to be here to make this?
No, you can do it. You can do it through third people. For example, we obtain the NI for our clients. We only need a power of attorney to be granted and before a notary in Spain or whatever. And in case it's not a Spanish notary, the power of attorney to be also apostille. And we can do the process into the name of our clients. So they don't need to be here in Spain, and they not to go directly to the consulate. We can do to their name. So this is the best way to speed up the process.
Yeah, I think that is better from client who came, for example, from Mexico, other countries, not maybe Europe, because it's easy. We are very close. There are 3 hours of flight, but imagine that they are coming from Mexico. That I had some clients of in this case, for example, they have some problems. It takes more than 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and at the beginning they have only 3 months visa for being here, for example, speaking about other countries. So you need to be very quick to take decision about property, to have an eye, to open account, things like that. Because for me, I can open account for the clients, but they need to have an eye. At the first, I can begin with the passport, but finally they need to for doing movement, things like that. They need to show an eye. So
definitely.
There are things that are very close.
Definitely. We advise to non-resident when they are thinking on acquiring a property, timing is essential. Okay, for many reasons, not only for NIE. We have to take the best from their stay in Spain. So we have to move quickly. It's also important, if we talk about that, in order to get the golden visa. So
I was just to ask you for the golden visa. You are thinking, we are mentally. Yes. It was the next
so let's talk about golden visa before, because it's an extensive matter. but let's say that it's important to get the best from those 90 days that they are entitled to stay here in Spain. To try to close all the process. It's important.
And the question is, the golden visa still exists, or just they refuse? Because I was speaking with the other week. We are speaking with our with the lawyer, which is only immigration. She is making only immigration process. So she told that it's not applying for golden visa because of problem they're going to have. Buying property, but investing in firms is okay, but buying property is not. You are still obtaining the golden visa?
Yes. Yesterday, I get the resolution for 3 of my clients. So let me say that now that the only thing that we have now is only the intention from the government of deleting the golden visa. But nowadays, no step has been taken to move forward regarding the deleting of the golden visa. So nowadays, golden visa is still in force. The only thing that we have is a proposal from one of the politician parties that are member of the government, but is not the main party member of the government. We have a government composed by 2 politician parties, but one of them has proposed to the Congress a specific text for eliminating golden visa. Nowadays, we have 3 ways for obtaining the golden visa. It's investing $2 million in Spanish public debt, investing $1 million in a Spanish company. The Spanish company must have a real current activity, okay? 1 million in investment funds, 1 million, depositing 1 million in a bank account, or acquiring a property amounting to 500,000. Okay, this is the 5 way. The proposal
will never be, cancelled. I think so. No,
well,
that is.
So the proposal that has been filed in the Congress eliminates the golden visa for acquiring real estate properties and investing in investment funds. Okay, but I still keep the other 3. The point is that considering that July and August the Congress is off. So and considering also the timing that a law usually takes, we don't foresee any modification to the golden visa program before the year end. So we have time.
Okay.
It's time to move quickly. So if you are planning to buy a property in Spain, do it now.
Yeah. We invite our investors who are now seeing the webinar to take action. That is still possible.
Yes.
In 2 years it will be only history, not something, and not something real. But for example, buying properties in Spain from lawyer view at this time. For example, what is your recommendation? For example, for a part of these 2 points, you are just wanting to buy something. So the process of due diligence, I call it the due diligence, not like a professional one, but for example, to be sure that the investment is free of debts, free of problems. So what do you recommend in this case? What steps they need to do to be sure that everything is a part, of course, of getting contact with Martínez-Echevarría, a part of it?
Well, in Spain, we are very lucky because we have a legal system where the main important things are public. So we have public resource to analyze a property. Okay, so the first thing that we have the land registry. Okay, the land registry is an institution, an entity where all the assets, all the real estate assets are recorded there. So it's important that we have, and all the information set forth in the land registry is supposed to be true. Okay, legally, it's legally true. And what does it mean? That the third party that acquire a property on the basis of the information contained in the land registry are protected. Okay, so what kind of information that we have in the land property? The ownership. This is a very important thing that you have in Spain. You can have clear picture of who's the owner of the property that you are intended to acquire. Liens and encumbrances, so mortgages, foreclosures, and any kind of issues that may affect the property are also included in the land registry. But there are also other things that you have to be aware of. Urban development regulation. There are some buildings in Spain that are out of the legality regarding the urban development. You have to be aware of that. It's not a big issue. It's not a big issue, and it sounds very, very heavy, but it's not a big issue. But we have to be aware of that. It's very typical in Spain that in the penthouse, the people used to construct more than they are entitled to do it. So in order to make the flats bigger, we have to be sure that those construction has finished for at least 4 years before. So, it doesn't appear in the land registry. So this is something that we usually check on the other side. Many of them apartments in Spain are submitted to a specific regulation of the building. So there is a kind of bylaws that on regulation and ruling the things that you can do in the apartment, the way that the things affecting the whole building need to be approved, majorities, regime, and so on, so on. So it's also important to check that. And also the tax impact. So in Spain, the properties are liable of the payment of taxes. What does it mean? That if your seller doesn't pay the taxes accordingly, the responsibility remains in the assets. So you have to be aware as a potential purchaser that the seller pay the taxes accordingly. And there are several taxes that you have to be aware of: transfer tax, property tax, and so on, so on. So you have to make a due diligence process. Many of the information is public, so speed up the process a lot. Yeah. But at the end, you have to be aware of many things.
Yeah, it's because of some debts doesn't appear in the system. For example, that can be like passed for the next owner. So it's very, very important. Like license, for example, in our case that we are making financiation for investors, for buyers. So there are a lot of things that sometimes for us are difficult. Some this is protected by number 255. So we need to check what this means. So it's fundamental to have a good lawyer, good advisor to check it. It's easy, really. It's easy, but it needs to be checked and revised, because sometimes people who buy in cash, they need. I saw a lot of problem of this.
Yes.
That maybe buying cash, so they don't need a bank. So in this case, they don't check very with effort. So what happened? That when they want to sell in 20 years, imagine that we find things that no, you need to check this, check that. This is not okay. This have no license. This is illegal. So I say, no, come on, but this is my house is I have it from always 20 years. Yes, but you now have a problem because you are the owner and you didn't check it at the first, or maybe even property that not inscribed in this central register. So there are a lot of
Yes, definitely, definitely. There are many things we have been thinking in buildings, but if you are talking about hotels or any kind of buildings or any kind of assets, the thing gets more complicated. There are permits that you have to be aware of. There are licenses. If you are pretending to change the use of the building, you have to be aware that the urban development regulation permit that change. So, I mean, there are many things that we have to be aware of when you're facing an investing in Spain, for sure. It's similar in other countries, let me say, but at the end we need to make a deep due diligence before assuming any amount. Definitely, you have to be sure that your projects fit in the building that you are thinking about to buy, and many more things. Definitely, so as you told, the permits is one of the big issues.
Yes, there is other problem here in Spain, that is, a lot of investor wants to buy very near to the sea, in the first line of the sea. So be careful, because this kind of properties sometimes are very cheap because have other problems that are too near to the sea. So
yes, there is in Spain. There is a law, the shore law, the ley de costas.
The costa,
yeah, that if your property is too close to the sea, you are not the owner. The owner is the government. So you have a concession for the several years. So we have to when we buy some properties very close to the sea. This is something to be aware of. How many times is the concession is granted, because you are not the owner. The owner is the state. Despite that, in the land property appears the individual or the company has the owner, but legally the owner is the government.
The government. So for foreigner investors, sometimes it's very usual that they buy something that they can't do anything. They can after that sell. So our investor need to be okay. They are going to be very protected because we are giving very good service. So we invite the investors to get in contact with us. But other thing that I would like to ask you is about a check of laundering money, as you tell, because sometimes this is the very big problem for trying money to Spain. Yeah,
definitely. We have to change our mind at this regard. We know that in some countries, very wealthy peoples have to, or need to keep their properties and the ownership undisclosed to everyone. However, in Spain, a bank, when you open the bank, will request you full information when you open the bank account. But also, if you want to buy a 1 million house, for example, 1 million property, the seller and us, the lawyer, and even the agents, the real estate agent, are obliged to ask for where the money comes from, and we need to record and evidence where the money comes from. For example, if you say that it comes from your activity because you are the main shareholder of a company, okay, we will need the statutory accounts from the company. We will need how the money comes from the company to you personally, and we will need, for example, the minutes of the general shareholder meeting approving dividends to the shareholders, and also that we have to check that the activity of the company is legal. I mean, we have activity, but we sell drug. Okay, this is not. You cannot buy anything in Spain, but we need to verify everything, the activity and the resources found, and
of course.
very deeply. The analysis is very deeply. Okay, so This is something that we have to change the mind of our clients. Sometimes we see some restriction to provide us information, but we need to have it. Okay, this is very important point.
We have some question from Thomas Krug, just asking for. We have a lot of questions, so
yeah, respond.
For example, how long this procedure takes under the anti-money laundering law?
It depends of the people who carry out the. I mean, the law establishes the obligation to civil people like lawyers, real estate agents, and some companies to gather all the information until they are absolutely sure that the money comes from a legal activity. Okay, there is no timing. It depends on the other part, because
your capacity to demonstrate, no? But
yes,
it takes very, very short time. For example, they ask you for the procedure of the money, so you give every information. It takes 2 weeks or 4 weeks if it's very quick, or usually it takes more time.
Usually it takes more time because client used to be are not willing to provide all the information. Sometimes we are trying to provide another information that is not exactly what I am being required to provide. Exactly. But this is the problem. But if you have all the information requested, you usually receive a list from the. If you provide with the information of that list, the process is unblocked in a couple of days. I mean, there is no the time they spend to review the information. The problem is when we try to provide all the information that is not exactly what we have been requested to provide. And we have then to talk to the other people. Okay, you have asked me information about that, but look at this. This is not exactly what you told me, but you can also see that my money comes from a legal, and then start a process of negotiation.
Yeah, and you ask the client for some information, they send you other, but it's happened to us, Sometimes I say, you need to provide this kind of documents. So in this way, present they need to be very well scanned, everything. So not photo documents because they're not good checked. So sometimes it depends, of course. No, sometimes in many cases.
Yes, in many cases. There are also some countries that, for example, they have no obligation to file for income tax forms. For example, to buy and so on and we have really big problems to provide with it. I mean, because one of the documents that I usually requested to provide is information about the tax forms, personal incomes tax forms. So there are some countries that there are no taxes.
It's true. Yes, for example, in this case, yeah.
Yes, and we have some problems. We have to think about alternative documents and then change the mind of the addressee
of the client, because it's in other way the client is getting angry. That sometimes that is not. You are not enough efficient, no?
Yes.
So,
and I want to be just one point. We are also like that all the information that we receive with the anti-money laundering, our obligations are kept undisclosed in our files. Okay, this is not information that is released to public, or it's not information that we have to be released to the Spanish authority. This information that we have to keep undisclosed and under strict confidentiality obligation in our files. Okay, so how long it takes? If you have all the information very quickly, we have to initiate a negotiation with the addressee of the information. For example, we have with a client from Dubai. We have spent more than 2 months.
2 months. Yeah, it's not very long time, really. It's
not, and it's not too much.
For example, Agnieszka Wacławek is asking that how long can the purchase process take from finding property of interest of completing a legal procedure?
Well, the legal process in Spain can be very, very fast, very quickly, but requires a lot of bureaucracy. Okay, so to the extent that we have all the information that we have to include in the well, let's start from the beginning. Sorry. The process starts with an offer. Okay, so you make an offer. It can be binding or not binding offer. Then we start the due diligence. We do it quite quickly, depending on the asset, for sure. Imagine in a house for an individual, we can make the process very quickly, and then you make a binding agreement that we usually call arras. Arras is a kind of deposit that ensures you that you want to buy, and the seller is obliged to sell. So after that, we have to sign that we call the sales and purchase public deed before a Spanish notary, and then file the public deed into the land registry. This is the process. It could take several days, or it could take a lot of time. To the extent that we have all the information in place, and we can speed up the process of due diligence in a couple of days, I would tell you that we have signed transactions in 1 week since the offer is made and to the sales and purchase public deeds, we only last one week.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they don't need financiation, of course, because sometimes some investor ask for a part of financiation, so it takes a little bit long time. It depends if financiation, for example. That is the next question I would like to ask you. You recommend buy for enterprise or for
as an individual?
Individual, yeah. For example,
it depends. If you want to make an activity, for example, I want to. If you want to invest to rent, for example, to rent the apartment as a 2x apartment or whatever, we will suggest incorporating a company here in Spain, okay, or do it through a vehicle, a specific vehicle. If the property are going to be for you and for your family uses, and it's going to be a personal investment, do it as an individual, okay? Because the point here is that non-residents are not entitled to deduct to compensate expenses. So if you buy if you want to make an activity and you will receive a rent, you will only pay 44%. 24% over the rent, but you're not entitled. No, sorry, my mistake. 24% of the incomes that you receive in rents, but you are not entitled to compensate any expenses. However, if you incorporate a company in Spain, then all the incomes can be compensated with expenses. Yes. So at the end,
there are a lot of costs that restore.
There are a lot of like condominium expenses, taxes.
Yeah. So they are about renting, of course. That is that next week we are going to speak about advisor, about what kind of firm they need to do. That you can help in this way too.
Yes, we are 400 lawyers, so we have one expert in anything.
Imagine. The next week we have a webinar with tax advisor. So he's only organizing, and you can offer this service. So it will be great. And we have other question that, for example, what are additional costs of purchasing property in Spain for foreigner from the European Union, and how much percentage should be added to the final price?
Right, it's a good question. Are the same for the cost to be assumed by a U.S. citizen is the same that for an Spanish So we have no difference for non-resident. Well, we have let me say we have a little bit difference, but let's start from the beginning. We have to pay a transfer tax. When you acquire a house, we have to pay, or VAT if it's a brand new house or brand new property.
A new one. Mm-hmm. Ivan, we lost you. A moment. Let's see if we recover that. It was very important moment that just
on the
we lost you. Some moment. Sorry, Ivan, we lost you 1 minute.
Start again.
Okay.
For the additional cost that you have to support when you buy a property in Spain depend if the property is a brand new property or is a second-hand property. Okay, so it's a brand new property, you have to pay at the time of acquisition 10% of VAT, and the 10% of VAT is the same for the whole country. Okay, we are thinking on houses, other kind of asset, the VAT is 21%. Okay, so
yeah, and
but focusing in houses because.
I just lost me. Right? Let's see. We lost you. We lost you during 30 seconds. Let's see if we recover the connection. No, I am alone. Let's see if Ivan contact her. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. So you're
okay, now I'm here again.
Okay.
So starting from the beginning, just for
the second part, we have now the new one 10% and the second hand.
The second hand, yes, transfer tax. Transfer tax from 6 to 11%, depending on the city, depending on the region where the property is located. In Madrid, 6%. In Andalusia, 7%. In Catalonia, 10%. So the impact can be high. The amount it can be different. So the other cost that you have to assume is the notary fees and the registry fees, independent of the purchase price. I would say it's vary depending on the volume of the transaction, but it's not too much. Okay, it's not that main. It's difficult to tell a specific number, but notary, for example, for 1 million property is about 1,200 euros or 2,000 euros, not too much, and the registry fee are similar, from 1,000 to 2,000 for a 1 million property. It's not a big deal. The second thing that you have to be reminded that when you are an owner in Spain of a property, you have to pay the property tax. The property tax depends on the cadastral value of the assets, and it's a percentage of that cadastral value, which is a value provided by the tax authorities. It's much lower to the market value of the asset, but it's, again, for a 1 million house, maybe the property tax it's around 1,000.
Yeah. It depends of the zone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I lost during the 20 seconds, so I was trying to.
Okay. Uh-huh. Well, the property tax is not a relevant amount, independent also the cadastral value of the asset, but for a 1 million house, the cost is to be 1,000 or 1,500 euros per year. So it's also not too much. And for non-residents, they have to pay an additional tax, a non-resident tax. If you are an EU citizen, the amount is 19% of the 2% of the cadastral value. So it's a minimum amount that don't usually, for a 1 million house, doesn't reach 1,000. But well, just to be aware of that. Yeah. And after that, when you sold the property, you have to pay the capital gains, as everyone. For EU citizen is 99. And also you have to pay what we call a municipality. You have to pay two capital gains at the state level, which is 19%, at the municipality level. The municipality level depends on the value, the difference of the when you buy. It's another calculation. It's supposed to in the increase of the price of the land.
This tax wasn't taken off because I just hear that in some, for example, in Madrid, you can ask for giving you back if you sold some property years ago till 5 years, I think so.
Yes,
and if you can ask, they give you.
Yes, if you don't have a gain, you don't have to pay. Okay.
Yeah.
And another important point for non-residents, they are obliged to support 3% of the withhold of the future price. So in order tax authorities to ensure that the capital gain going to be paid by the non-resident, the buyer is obliged to withhold the 3% of the future price and pay to the tax authority. That's 3%.
Okay. But
after that,
I have a question. If they pay his taxes in his own country, imagine for Polish people, no, they buy here a house, they sold them and have a gain, pay taxes, and they need to. What happened with the taxes they pay in Poland if there are no residents in Spain?
Well, the taxes connected to property are paid in the land where the property is located. So if you get a capital gain here in Spain, you only have to pay here in Spain, not in Poland.
Yeah.
So, but you have to be aware that you have to support a 3% of the future price withholding. That it's quite a lot. After that, if the 90% is less than the 3% of the future price, if the 19% of the capital gain is less than the 3% of the withholding, you are entitled to a return from the tax authorities. Okay, the difference will be returned to you.
There is no difference in Canary Island. Do you know something about it? That there, in general, taxes are lower. So there are a lot of people interested in investing in Canary Island because of lower taxes. Is the same proportion?
Yes, the transfer tax is the same between 6 and 11. That. The difference is that they don't have VAT. They have a specific Canary tax, and this is much lower. But
lower 4%, and for some enterprise there is no.
Yes, they had big deals in Canary Island because of the taxes.
Yeah. So, and we have other question is but this question is what you respond that. Why should I have a lawyer or manager accounting of buying property? It's the evidence is we are speaking about it, no, Ivan? It's not for selling you services, but it's very important when you are buying a property in Spain to check every point that need to be totally legal, that there are not surprises, because it could be cost a lot of money. It cost you in this case. So because of this case, it's very, very important, I think. Ivan, I don't know if you are waiting or I lost you. Oh, yes, I lost Ivan. So let's see.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Yes.
You're back. You're back. I just explained about you. You are, is what important is to have a good lawyer. Because of this reason, we collaborate very closely with Martínez-Echevarría, because they are professional, have spaces in offices in all country. No, you have how many offices you have now?
Yeah, we have now 20 offices in 3 different countries.
Yeah.
We have offices in Portugal, from the north to the south, in Spain, in Madrid, and in the south of Spain,
Yeah.
in many cities in the south of Spain, and we have two offices in Turkey.
Yeah. So in this case, I invite that they contact us and contact Martínez-Echevarría for any question, for any doubt that you can have, or even asking for some recommendation, about where you can invest, which is the good zone, which could be very profitable, because I think that this vision of I lost Ivan, this vision is very, very important. So we can support and help you and buying in good way property in Spain. I was speaking because you are in and out, so
yes, sorry.
But it's really important. For us is very important that our clients, our investors know that they are really safe, no? And if something is no, we say no, don't do it. Recommendation are always I can find the word that we have no part of only we recommended that is good for our clients, because it's the most important asset for us, that our client is happy, is going to invest more, no? And the first time it's okay. So tell me something for closing, because the time is going very quickly. Some final recommendation. I don't know. Maybe tell us something that you consider as important to know. Ivan is just thinking, but the problem of connection today is making that I can speak more, So let's see if he came back. And
okay, now you're here. No. Yeah, well, no, what I was telling is that due diligence, okay? I think that the due diligence is essential. Good due diligence, better than a good agreement. Having a good...
Yes. Better that good agreement, have a good due diligence before the deal, I think. I don't know if Ivan is hearing me.
Yes, perfectly.
Yes,
perfectly.
but you are without doing nothing. So
yeah.
Okay, so it's very important. I invite you to get in contact with us. You can take the presentation of Ivan. This presentation I will send you by email in English and maybe in Polish. Why not? Ze mną Państwo po polsku. Zapraszam bardzo. I jest to dla mnie wielka przyjemność móc pomóc w zakupie nieruchomości w Polsce, w Hiszpanii, przepraszam. I needed to introduce myself, Ivan. So I have some problems at the beginning, buying things, buying property. So I know that it's very, very, very important to have a good advisor for me. So good advisor sometimes can avoid mistakes, can avoid problems, and sometimes that you can lose. So we only want have winners in our portfolio of clients. So Iván, thank you very much. If you need to, and very quickly say something before you go out.
No. Thank you very much, Sylvia. It's my pleasure. I'm happy to talk to attend to all the people here, and well, in our presentation, our brochure are our contact details. So if you are interested to, I mean, it's free to contact us, and happy to help you when you are facing an investment here in Spain. So.
Okay, thank you very much, and I expect that you are going to be the next week on Tuesday at 1 o'clock to see to hear some tax advisement from other advisors. So thank you very much, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
And bye. Thank you for everyone to be here with us. Bye.
Bye-bye.